Do you have a base case for this for the next 6 months in any way, shape or form?
Well, our base case, of course, it is very difficult. The politics have been changing daily, really, here this week. But, of course, our base case is that there will be a delay. That does seem to be working out now. That law has not been signed into place just yet, but it looks like it will be quite soon, certainly by Monday. And that, of course, would delay Brexit beyond October the 31st. We also think that there will be a general election in the coming months, probably not before October the 31st. But, again, it's going to be quite interesting just within the next hour to hear what Boris Johnson's got to say about an election. But certainly the Labour Party do want an election, but they just want to make sure that Boris Johnson doesn't come back, that he doesn't come back with a majority, which is very questionable, but certainly obviously something that Johnson would like, and that he would potentially change the law that has been fought about this week.
Jane, as we drift seemingly towards an election, I have no idea when that comes, but seemingly that's where this is heading. How does Sterling behave in that environment?
Well, again, that's very interesting because generally speaking, of course, investors tend to like more right-wing governments because they are more associated with more budgetary prudence, and has a disdain for very left-wing governments because the opposite is generally true. Now, that is certainly the case. Jeremy Corbyn is eyed up with suspicion, really, by sterling investors. He's very, very left-wing. He has policies, for instance, that wants to renationalise certain industries. Investors are very, very wary about that. However, of course, he is on the Remain camp, and the Remain camp is something which is something investors do like. So there's a real mix here of what might happen. Now, of course, the way the opinion polls are going now, it suggests that perhaps no party will get a majority, and actually Jeremy Corbyn might be better positioned to form a coalition with some other Remain parties, such as the Liberal Democrats, the Scottish, the Welsh, maybe the Greens. Now, if that was the case, investors might be soothed into thinking, OK, Corbyn might be leading this government, but his very left-wing leanings could be very much diluted by these left but more centrist parties.
Jane, this is, of course, crystal ball type thinking, but just a war game through it with you. Where's the most downside for cable? Is it a Jeremy Corbyn government or a hard Brexit with Prime Minister Johnson? Which one is it?
I think for now it would be the hard Brexit, because the likelihood of a pure Labour Jeremy Corbyn government is really quite distant. So the hard no-deal Brexit is certainly the big risk right now, I think, for investors.